Hello everybody, Nerd in Texoma here. Welcome back for another hopefully entertaining video. Must be entertaining, because some people really, keep up with what I put out. Casual viewers, they just pop in when they see something interesting. So hopefully, it's interesting to longtime viewers and casual viewers. I do apologize right now for the fan sound because, yeah, Texas is crazy. Last week we were basically iced in and shut down, and today it's almost 70 degrees. And it's February, still what would be considered winter. So, yeah, wonderful Texas here. But for today's episode, I'm going to start off with something that I teased in the quick little Friday update that I did, which is the animation colors or animation style G1 re-release of Starscream. Now, this is probably, oh my goodness, okay, we had the original Starscream that came out in G1 in '84. Then we've had, oh goodness, I'm wanting to say there were 3 American releases before this, possibly 4, of Starscream. Then in Japan, I'm wanting to say there were at least 2 in regular Starscream colors. Then there was the Ghost Starscream that was released, which was obviously all clear. It was not totally in the traditional Starscream colors because it was clear, but it was the exact same molding of the figure. The only difference is, obviously, we have not perfected clear metal yet, so the die-cast parts on the G1 Starscream were cast in clear plastic, and I apologize for the little wince there. But good old Spot decided he wanted to come by, and he started kneading on my leg with his claws, and bless you. Cat owners will know exactly what I'm talking about, or anybody who's been around a cat, how they tend to find the exact location in whatever you're wearing, be it a blanket, be it jeans, whatever, that their claws can just go right through and straight to your skin. So, yeah, he did that. But this is, like I say, the newest re-release of the G1 Starscream. Unfortunately, in recent times, he seems to be the only of the G1 Decepticon jets to get re-released. They don't seem to have any love or affection for like Thundercracker or Skywarp or any of the Coneheads like Dirge. Now in Japan, slightly different story. But then again, I don't believe that they have re-released any of the G1 Decepticon jets since approximately the early 2000s, like 03 to 05 time frame. So unfortunately, it's kind of lacking. Now, I've already taken the figure out of the packaging, played with him some, because I was looking for this particular figure, because this was my primary birthday gift to myself. I believe I've shared this story before on the channel when I was talking about the King Dam Starscream that I have, which is a knockoff of the original Diaclone, which was the original Transformer release of the figure. But basically, when I was a little kid, you know, I say little, I've always been tall, a younger kid. My mom went to the store with me as a little department store, as a little local one. I don't know the name of it. I don't remember the name of it. It was in the Lakewood Shopping Center. I remember that. And, you know, we went to get some, you know, whatever, clothes, or coffee maker or something. Well, back then, that was when the Transformers had first come out, is 1984. So I would have been about 7. And I didn't have a Transformer yet, but I wanted one, and I talked my mom into getting me one. And one of the bigger ones, not just the little mini bots that they had at the time. Those ran about $2 to $3 a piece, if I remember correctly. I managed to talk my mom into getting me a $10 one, which was this size, like Starscream. And the bigger Transformers in this store, they had in a glass display case right by the register. I couldn't convince my mom at that time to get me Optimus Prime because I think it was like $25, somewhere around there. But I did convince her to get me one of the $10 ones. And the $10 one that I wanted was at the very front of the display case, furthest away from the cashier at the register. And just so happened that the one that I wanted was Starscream. And my mom's like, yeah, cool, you can get him Starscream. Well, long story short, Starscream was all the way at the front of the case, and the cashier didn't want to reach all the way to the front of the case. And instead, my first Transformer was Grapple, who is an Autobot. He's a orange construction crane vehicle. I was disappointed that it wasn't Starscream, but yet I was happy to have a Transformer. And for years and years and years, I wanted Starscream, but an original was just extremely expensive. So I did the next best thing that I could. You know, I got the King Dam knockoff. I got built up parts from a Generation 2 Starscream, built that one, and Generation 2 is, it's the same plane, it's the same body molding, but it's different colors. It's close to the G1, but Generation 2 came out in the 90s, where a lot of things that were G1 got re-released in G2, but they got the neon treatment. So, you know, it might have been a neon blue rather than just a regular average blue for a character or something. So it scratched the itch for a while, but, you know, it wasn't exactly the same. And unfortunately, I never had the money to get one of the Japanese re-releases. I mean, I did have the opportunity a couple of times, but I went for some of the more rare Transformers that I could get from a Japanese re-release like Megatron. The G1 Megatron has never, ever been re-released in the United States due to changing safety laws. Since the G1 Megatron turned into a pistol and was easily available as a toy, back in the mid 80s, some enterprising people decided to buy a bunch of the toys and commit robberies with it because it looked so realistic. So that changed the toy laws. Some kids were just innocently playing with Megatron out in their backyard, out in the neighborhood, this, that, and the other. Cops drove by, saw somebody pointing what they thought was a real gun at someone else, and shot and killed these kids. So G1 Megatron has never been re-released in the United States. At the time Japan was re-releasing these figures, they re-released Starscream, and they re-released a bunch of others. They released Thundercracker, like I said before, Skywarp, Optimus Prime, and Megatron. And since I never had the original Megatron, I jumped at the chance to get the Japanese re-release of the original because it would be so rare, and decided not to get Starscream. Well, fast forward to, I believe it was 2016, 2017-ish, and Walmart, of all places, started re-releasing some of the original G1 Transformers in G1 styled packaging. Now, when I say that's G1 styled, it would be the packaging that you would expect to see in Canada. Because in Canada, packages have to be both English and French. And for Walmart to be able to justify the cost of re-releasing these figures, they had to be able to sell it at their locations in Canada. To sell it at their locations in Canada, they had to replicate the Canadian boxes. Now, they couldn't make an exact duplicate because then, people would start passing them off as the originals from '84, which they're not. So they did make some changes to the boxes, but they made the boxes fairly close, or as close as they could at the time, to the original '84 packaging. And this is one of those Walmart re-releases from, like I said, I believe it's 2017-ish. Now, this is the one that I guess, play with more or keep closer to me. I've got another one up on display at the top of the wall of Starscream that was the actual first in-box Starscream I ever got. And about 2 years after they came out, I just happened to be at a little small town Walmart, just walking through the aisle. These re-releases had already been off the shelf for quite some time by that point, and I found this one, beat up box and all, but everything's intact. I found this one for $15 on clearance when it was normally like a $30 figure. So yeah, I jumped at the chance to get me another in-box G1 Starscream. I just thought it was so cool. So like I say, this is the one that I play with more often. And basically some of the changes that they made is basically where that Autobot symbol is there that says, authentic Transformer and all that, that would have been in the 80s a robot point. And what you would do with those is you would cut out that little square and say, whatever, 2 robot points, or, half a robot point for like the little mini cars. Or if you had a big Transformer like Metroplex or something, that would be like 5 or 6 robot points. What you do is you would cut that out, and there would be a little booklet that came inside the packaging where you'd save up your robot points, mail that in with $5 to cover shipping, and you would get a Transformer that way. Sometimes they were exclusives that there was no other way to get them. Sometimes they were just ones that were already released and weren't on the shelves anymore, and is your second chance of getting that figure. So, like I said, this is my, play with copy of a G1 Starscream. Now, this is based off of one of the Japanese re-releases, actually, since that was the most recent at that point, and I guess easiest to copy, because what they did, again, of course, for U.S. safety laws, we had to get these elongated missiles that you can see right down there are like way longer, and these ones up here that stick off of his wings. Now, in Japan, what they did when they re-released Starscream, I think it was about 03-ish, is they actually remolded the fists to accommodate a Megatron. So, Starscream could actually hold Megatron in gun form, and like he did in one episode, let me put this together so y'all can get the good look at it as it's supposed to be. If I don't bonk Spot in the head since he's sitting on my lap. Bad thing is, in package, you can't leave it fully together because all the wings won't fit. The box is quite thin, so you have to put on his tail wings and some other parts when you take them out of the package. But excuse me. Basically, that is your G1 Starscream. Now, on this one, I chose not to put the Decepticon symbols on the wings. On the one that I keep mostly in box, I put the Decepticon symbols on that one. I chose not to on my play with copy. But it comes with this, like I said, little Megatron gun. And right there, you'll see there's that clip. Well, that plugs into either one of these intake ports right there. So, like I say, there was one episode in G1 where Starscream's flying along and Megatron's like, "Hey, Starscream, pick me up. I need to shoot from above." So, Starscream flies around. Megatron jumps up and transforms and sticks onto the underside of Starscream, and they're, shooting at Autobots or whatever the heck they're shooting at. So, this little Megatron here is something that came out, like I said, I think it was originally the 03 release in Japan. And in modern re-releases in the United States, which have been in Walmart, he's come with Starscream ever since. So you'll see here in a moment, let me get this pegged in and attached, that with the new animation color Starscream, he also has the little Megatron gun there, and he can fly around and shoot the Autobots with Megatron and all that. So basically this animation colored Starscream is just a copy of the G1 toy Starscream, but he's done purely in the animation color scheme. What I mean by that is, in the show, the blue was a lot lighter. See, on the toy version, it was a darker blue. The striping was different. Stickers that were on the toy, giving extra details and stuff, were not present in animation because, you know, if you had to animate all that detail in every shot when they were still doing hand-drawn animation, that would be very, very time-consuming, very inefficient. So, of course, they simplified for animation. You'll see that the animation one, excuse me, does have an orange cockpit area, whereas the re-release toy version has the gray cockpit area. Both, I think, are pretty cool. I don't know if it shows up that well, but the toy version is kind of a gray metallic, whereas the animation version is just a gray plastic. I don't have my Kingdam available right here where I can get to it to show the differences, but the Kingdam is obviously more based on this version of Starscream, but he is an even darker gray color. And he does have the orange canopy as opposed to the gray canopy. Interesting little things like that. But let me transform these right quick, so you'll actually get to see a Starscream that, unlike my Kingdam Starscream, doesn't have a leg falling off. Now, on these G1 figures, transformation is very simple. You can either parts form, which would include taking the wings off, or you can just take them and turn them around. I prefer turning them around. That's just me. You can do whatever you like. Being careful with this because it is new, so a lot of the joints are still very tight on this figure, and I don't want to damage anything. So I'm being extremely cautious at the moment in transforming him, which he's being a bit of a pain at the moment. There we go. Tight joints on a new Transformer figure or a new re-release of a Transformer figure are both a good and a bad thing. Alright, so here we have, let me get his fists on so y'all can see that. And actually, I'm going to show you what they did here on the lighter fists. You'll see there's that little extra post there at the bottom, and there's a hole at the top. That is so you can take the handle off of Megatron there and pop him into those two parts. You put the top part of Megatron, that little post will go into the top of the fist there pretty tightly, and then there's a slot there that goes onto that post on the bottom of the hand. So now it looks like Starscream is holding Megatron in gun mode. And then that just pegs onto his arm stumps. And there you have Starscream holding Megatron. Like I said, this is the animation colors, so it is not exactly the same as the toy colors one. And let me transform that one to show y'all that one. Now also on the new animation one, I've chosen to leave his missiles, the long missiles, off of the launcher because the spring in that seems to be very, very sensitive, and it will shoot those missiles pretty easily. And I don't want to lose them, so I'm not taking any chances right now, you know, of them possibly getting sent across the room and one or both of my cats finding them and thinking that they are just the most amazing cat toy ever. But almost done here, and then we can talk about some of the differences in these two versions of Starscream in robot mode. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and put the Megatron into Starscream's hand so y'all can see that. I do personally like the earlier Walmart Starscream reissue Megatron that he can hold, because he's silver as opposed to just being like a plain gray as the new animation colored one is. That's just my personal preference. And yes, for Starscream, generally what you would do is, again, you would put his missile launchers on the side of his arm there. For the sake of not wanting to lose the missiles, I am leaving those off of his arms. Now, you will see here, again, this is the 2018 re-release. This is the current re-release. They both have the Megatron in gun form. Like I said, it's don't know if y'all can really see that, but it's a gray plastic here. Here he is a silver plastic. One thing that I do like on this Starscream, the animation one, is you'll see the vents here next to his head, and his head are actually painted just like he would show up in the show, whereas on the toy one, the vents are unpainted. They're just the molded color of the nose cone, and his face is unpainted. The only thing that is colored in are his eyes, and they're gold. Like I say, personally, I think both of them are really damn cool. This one, I'm not sure how much he goes for right now. Probably at least 30 to 50 bucks. Probably more than that, more than, like, higher than 50, I'm guessing. Might be able to find them on sale, I don't know. This one right now is like 34. If you order it off of Walmart.com, he says he's not supposed to be out till like March, but you can actually find him in some stores. Like I said, I wanted this one for my birthday, so yeah, I drove about 80 miles or so round trip to get this one in a store because I didn't want to wait for the pre-orders to come through and all that. So, but yeah, that's my Starscream collection for now. Hope y'all have enjoyed the video again. If y'all have any requests for videos or anything that you want to see on this show, feel free, drop them in the comments. I will see if I can research it, or if that's something that's already in my collection, or, find something of it. But, yeah, y'all have a good day. Take it easy. Stay warm, stay cool, whatever your local weather is doing. It's a crazy time of year, so. Alright, y'all take it easy. See y'all next time.